August 28th, in the Swedish Mission Covenant Church in Glen Ellyn, Illinois, with a reception in my parents' backyard.
Cool.
The number 50 makes one pensive. And you think about weird thoughts. Like, it's very strange and wonderful that when we got married, the National Park Service was only 50 years old. So there you are. And we're especially grateful for the people and golden retrievers who have been with us for these 50 years. And so delighted that so many of you wanted to come. And we decided that
there are lots of them.
We decided it would be good to introduce you to each other a little bit. And we're not going to introduce everybody, but we're going to give you a concept about who's here. So first, friends from the last decade of our
working backwards.
And so from that, especially, I want to acknowledge the presence here of members of the Calvary Church Episcopal Choir, which I sing in, and the people there, and there's Murray over there who conducts it, and people who I not only sing with, but I drink gin with. My children are very amused that I never drank gin until this point in my life. Anyway, choir and church. And also friends who then have helped make us make cider, gotten Michael interested into building boats, so stuff like that.
Yes. Well, people have said to me, "Well, you've taken up these new things. That's because it's a wonderful thing to keeps you young to master things and be masterful in new kinds of things." Actually, that's not what keeps you young. That's not it. It is the humiliation. Yeah. Being incompetent at it. And I want to acknowledge the Aikido people, especially those who were, for me, the sternest teachers, the harshest, the ones who really made me do it right. And that was, they're here. Oh, no. It's not the guys. It's Nicole, Elizabeth, and there's Jeannie. Now, these are the whip crackers. And one would think.
See what you want to see, man.
It's all love.
Yeah, and the guys do have their virtues, and one of which was Aikido people will do almost anything. So if you say to them, "Let's build a boat," I say, "Yeah, let's build a boat." They say, "Let's go to," if I say, "Let's go to Nepal and suffer miserably at high altitude for extended periods," they will. And for that, I particularly thank David Sofen, who is actually reattached a number of my body parts.
Now, actually, almost all of you that were outside of those last decade people, almost all of you were here. Well, there's some big exceptions, but a lot of you were here for our 25th anniversary party, where we performed a Bach's wedding cantata, Bach and Auf, in St. Andrew's Church, and then came up here and had barbecue lamb that my brother brought from, who can't be here, from Wisconsin. And that, of course, was made possible by our dear good friend Paul Vorwerk, who is, here's Paul. Uh-oh. I don't know what, wherever he is. Oh, he's in the kitchen. Okay, anyway, there is Paul. He made it all possible by organizing and conducting it, and a lot of you here sang or played in that, including Neil. Where's Neil? I don't know where Neil is. Maybe he's in the kitchen too. There's Neil. And Ginny Draper. And I have to say that was the occasion, Mike, who's always willing to try something new, but that was the first and last and only time that he ever performed in a choral performance. And that was thanks to Paul's tapes. Anyway, then there's a large, wonderful group here that spans decades, whom I first came to know because of teaching writing at UCSC, and who then moved from being colleagues in various kinds of ways to being our friends. And not only they became our friends, but then their partners became our friends. And I just want to acknowledge Paul Skenazy as the oldest friend of those. No, he's exactly this. Anyway, but the one that was the first of these people, because he was on a group of people who imagined the job that eventually, in 1974, I took. And I should say that I took that job just a few weeks before, a few weeks after we moved into this house. And we're celebrating on the 1st of September, which is 3 days away, 42 years living here, which explains many things.
Yeah, and I should say when we came to California, we were under the impression it would be try it out for 6 months and then go back. Back to civilization. I'm sure that, the baleful influence of certain persons here present. And I refer specifically to Richard Olson, who then was my teaching mentor and greeted us at the airport and seduced us into the wonders of California. And then, I lost my academic innocence. Left California. And, my heart has always been broken. But to work with John DeZikas was a
trial.
And the beginning of a very long friendship. Dick was the. I just want to say, Dick was the very, very first person we knew in Santa Cruz. So
right.
Anyway, so that was.
I remember that in Botstots. Where are we now? Oh, my goodness. And we had children.
We had them when we came.
I was a rumor of them.
We had them when we came, partly because of Yale New Haven's great maternity program. But anyway.
The test is a demonstration of Carol's mettle that Adrian cried the whole way across the continent.
Yes.
On the
Anyway.
airplane. But in any case, we did that and sought out their education. And there were two people who were instrumental, I think, particularly in that. And one explains Adrian's personality. Cheerful, sunny, like Ann Schwartz. We say she inherited her personality from Ann. And then a person that we still know as Mark the teacher.
It was Carrie's teacher in Montessori school. Anne, of course, was a potter, and if you walk around carefully, you can still find lots of pots.
Mostly we broke.
Anyway, all right, and then
Yes.
we're gonna talk about from there the people who were at the wedding itself 50 years ago, and those include my two sisters. There's Kathleen, and then my sister Adrian. There's Adrian, who's here with her husband Edward, and of course then shortly thereafter came our daughters, whom a lot of you know, but some of you have never met. Curie, who's sitting back there, and Adrian, who's up there with her husband Jeff. And finally, I have to give a huge acknowledgement for all of this to someone who could not be here, my 92-year-old mother who can't travel, but she's here in spirit. She is a Swede and responsible for my associating smorgasbords and herring with big celebrations. And the sill salad, the herring salad, which will be with the meal, is her recipe, and the limpa bread Michael made from her recipe. So as I say, we'll send back lots of pictures. And that's it. Our daughter Adrian wants to make a toast. She tells me, she's instructed me about this. And then after that, the smorgasbord table.
Wait a minute.
We have another toast.
Wait a minute. We have a toast. We have some stuff.
Oh, you have some stuff?
Stuff. We're sorry. And actually, I'm going to oddly
Wait,
start.
let me just say, when this is over, then the smorgasbord table is open, and you go through the kitchen, and you can continue through the house if you want, and come out this way if it looks crowded. And there are 4 tables outside and 3 tables inside, and they all got to be used because, and you can hear the music in all the directions. Anyway, great music too from Paul and Gail and Emily and Janet. So, I'm sorry.
We're oddly going to, I have words to say, but we're going to actually start this. I do work for the Park Service, thank you very much. And it is our 100th anniversary, and you're not that old. So this is sort of, you know, the world of recurring themes. Marriage. That's my husband. So, you know, I always think about this last 4 years at least have been sort of all about change and how much everything changes, and it feels like things are constantly changing. But you know, in Ben Lomond, here especially for me, everything is about recurring themes. And it's recurring in that Mom always has a very strict order and Dad always ad-libs. We have, it's things like way too many zucchini or no zucchini at all, or fretting about the apple crop and then having way too many apples. It's about the red tablecloth at Christmas. It's about Christmas carols, these touchstones that I come back to that are continuous recurring themes in our lives. And I'm lucky enough to be able to have those regularly, even as Dad builds boats and, you know, and golden retrievers, they're another theme in this family. You know, one of the recurring themes of these parties has been Bach It Out, which is the Bach's Cantata 140. Which we played together when I was still playing the violin at their 25th wedding anniversary, which some of you got to hear. You know, and it still rings a lot in my mind when I'm, you know, hanging out with my parents or whatever, or contemplating their 50 years together. And my understanding is if you listen, you might still hear it echoing today in Ben Lomond.
That's great.
Let it ring through the forest again. Cheers! 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 Did we have another? No. Not another song.
A brief story. So, the elephant in the room, of course, is the boat that's downstairs. I'm David, by the way. The other half of building the boat. And it just shows you my level of intelligence for agreeing to build it with him. But anyway, last week Michael called and he said, hey, let's go rowing. Let's take the boat down. And so, being the chump that I am, I helped him load it on the truck, which is, you may have noticed the front yard's been landscaped, and that's because once we built the boat, we couldn't get it out. Anyway, that was just a minor thing. So anyway, we get it on, and then we take it down to the harbor and unload it, and to get it out onto the truck, we had to take the seat off. So we take the seat off in the boat, it's sitting in the parking lot, and Michael has to go repark, but before he does that, we put the seat on, and it's only 2 screws. And being the competent search and rescue, always have all your gear, we forgot a screwdriver. So it was the one tool we needed. So I used a penny, and he used a jack from the car, and we, half hour later, got the seat attached. And then he had to go park the truck, and so I was in, having my Zen moment, looking at the boat, really appreciating our handiwork and what brilliant sailors we were, and noticed that the seat was on backwards. And I honestly thought, given how hard it was to put that seat on, that maybe we should just row backwards. But no, I took the penny out and we redid it. We got it in the water. Well, there were some other things that are backwards, and they actually still are. The oar locks are backwards. But anyway, we're creative. We're trying to figure these things out. And then, we're going up and down the harbor and really being proud of our accomplishment and rowing. And Michael's like waving to everybody. You know that thing where you smile at people and you wonder why they're smiling and being so friendly to you because your fly's open or you have food in your teeth? Well, it was like that because I think everybody knew we rigged the boat wrong and the oars were going in the wrong way. And anyway, but we had fun. And with that, I say we will be young forever. If being beginners will keep us young, we will be young forever. So I want to thank Michael for that. And I want to thank Carol's indulgence as well. And what I've learned about Carol and the secret to their marriage is the fact that when Michael says, I want to build a boat, she says, yes, of course, knowing how much he's going to owe her. And